Are you stuck in the 9 to 5 grind, wondering how to create a better life for yourself and for your family? Well, today, in this video, I'm going to share with you how I escaped that 9 to 5 grind. I'm going to share some information about my journey on how I created a life with balance and also freedom. Please stick around because today I'm going to share exactly how I did that. Hello everybody, my name is Paul. I am a 19-year veteran of traveling and living abroad. I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I have been on a really strenuous journey for the past 19 years in many different countries. But in today's video specifically, I'm going to talk about just my career. If I can take you all the way back to 2007, okay, because that's the first time I came to South Korea. Now in 2005 and 6, I was in Canada. 2007, I spent a little bit of time at home and then I went back abroad to South Korea. Now, I started in South Korea as an English teacher. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably thinking, Paul, that's a lazy job, right? It's a very kind of simple job. You're English speaking. Well, yeah, but you know what? I needed to have a degree to get into English teaching. In South Korea, you need to have the degree as minimum. And you pretty much start at the very bottom of the ladder because you're young. I was like 25 years old at this point. You're inexperienced, easily controlled. That's the way that they see it. My first year compared to my year this year is completely and utterly different. I'm going to share with you the steps I took to get where I am today. I was 1 year in an English academy. This is primarily working about 9:20 a.m. in the morning till about 7 p.m. at night. It was 5 days a week. It was very strenuous. It was very difficult, very tiring. You're dealing with kindergarten students, elementary students, and probably middle school students too. After that first year, I went home for a break and I came back, but this time I improved, okay? I went to the public school. Now, the public school is the same as the elementary school in America and Canada, and the primary school in the UK. So public school is where you feel kind of like a teacher, right? You actually have an assistant Korean teacher in the classroom at all times. I was teaching primary 3, primary 4, primary 5, primary 6. That's 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students. And I was there for 6 years, okay, 2 different schools. Now, during my 4th or 5th year in that public school experience, I decided to do an online master's degree, okay? I got news that I was going to be a father for the first time, so this kind of like sparked my mind. Okay, Paul, now you've got to try and make a change in your life. You've got to try and do something that's going to get you higher up the career path. In the public school, I felt like there was a glass ceiling, okay? I felt like there was kind of like an invisible wall that you couldn't get past. I was getting the most money that they would offer me. I was getting the most vacation that they would offer me. But I was leaving the house in the morning at 8 o'clock and I wasn't getting home till 6 p.m. at night. Now that was Monday to Friday. This is the grind, folks. I've done it. Now, my teaching hours were from 8:40 until 4:40. Sorry, not teaching, they were working hours. I was only teaching 22 hours in a week. The rest of the time you're supposed to lesson plan for classes, or you can just desk warm. Desk warming means you sit at your desk and you just keep it warm, right, by sitting there. So it can be a little bit tedious, a little bit boring, and actually mentally it's not stimulating, so you get really tired. Now, I decided to actually go ahead and start my online master's degree while I was working at the public school because there was so much desk warming time. I thought, why not combine 2 of these things at the same time? I'm getting paid to be there, and let's do the online masters. Now, the online masters, I did it at Leicester University. I did it in TESOL, Applied Linguistics, in teaching, okay? So let's fast forward until the very end of my public school, and this was in 2016. I graduated from Leicester University with a master's degree, so I now have a bachelor's in business and a master's in teaching. I now have 6 years experience in the public school. I have a lot of experience of teaching different grades, and I feel like I'm starting to enjoy teaching, but I do not enjoy the 9 to 5 grind, in my case 8 to 6. So I thought to myself, what can I do? How can I provide for my family? But more important, how can I pursue my career with the balance of life, right? How can I spend more time at home as a dad? Because I'm going to be a father, and now I was a father in 2013. Let me just take you back to my father, okay? My father was someone that, he worked a lot, but he was never at home, and he was never close to me, or my brother or my sister. And for me, that was kind of sad because I feel like I didn't have a dad that I could hang out with or, go to the bar with, for example. I couldn't really talk to my dad much. He wasn't there, and when he was there, he was tired. So I wanted to be different to my father with my children. So I'm trying to be the best dad that I can be. I'm trying to be for them all the time. At the same time, I have to provide for my family, right? I have to support them. Being a father inspired me, but also having a family was the why, was the biggest reason, right? I have to provide for them, but I have to put myself in a better situation. Now, let me kind of tell you where I went to. So I went to my first university job, which was in the countryside. It's very difficult getting a Korean professor job here in Korea if you don't have experience. Now, I didn't have any experience teaching university students, but I managed to get the job. I'm pretty good in interviews. I'm pretty good with people skills and answering questions. I got a job. Now, for 1 year, I worked at a university which was 2 hours from my home. The great thing about university, folks, is it's usually only 4 days a week. Okay, so now I have more free time. I'm only working 4 days. I have Monday off. I can stay home. I can be there with my child, with my wife. I can pick up my child from school, etc. But because it was 2 hours to get there and 2 hours to come back, I'm spending 10 hours, 4 times 4, 16 hours more a week on travel. So it kind of felt like I was doing the same thing. But I needed to do it. Why? I needed to get experience. With university experience, master's degree, business degree as well, it would put me in a much better position next year if I'm going to apply for a different university. And that's exactly what I did. After only 1 year, I left that university and I went for 2 interviews, got both the jobs, and I managed to get a university very close to Seoul in South Korea that has fantastic benefits. I have 5 months of paid vacation a year, okay? Think about that, folks. I'm pretty much from the middle of December until the first week of March, I'm free. From the middle of June until the first week of September, I'm free. Now, this time is spent with my family. It's doing other projects, for example, this YouTube channel, and it gives me the freedom and the life balance. Now, I don't get paid millions and millions of pounds or dollars or whatever you want, but I get paid enough to support my family, okay? And that's what it's all about for me. Nothing less, nothing more. Now, I also have a 4-day week, okay? So I'm off 3 days a week. I work 4 days a week. So you can see where my work-life balance is starting to come in here. And this is all because I got my master's degree and I pushed on. Now, how did I achieve these different things? Well, obviously, you have to set some stipulations, right? I'm going to give you some practical steps that worked for me. Now, I think they can work for you as well if you put it into practice based on your situation, based on your current situation, your lifestyle, and where you want to go. Number one, you have to set yourself clear goals. Now, when I say clear goals, you have to know what you want. Obviously, I wanted a better job. I wanted autonomy. I wanted to feel like a real teacher, a real lecturer. But how can I feel like a real teacher if I'm not qualified in that field? And that's the thing. Once I got the master's degree in teaching, I felt much more confident. I felt like I belonged there. I felt like I needed to get some, respect and be in a better place. And that's what I did. Now, your ability to support the family is obviously a huge factor for everybody. As a father, I feel like it's my role to do that. I feel responsible for my children, my wife as well. Obviously, we pay rent in a house. So yeah, it's all of these things add up, right? Now, professional development and continuous education. As you know about my master's degree, I did that for myself, but I used my own money. So there was a lot of pressure there for me to pass that. I also did that when we had a new baby in the house. Okay, so not only was I working full-time, I was at home spending time with my daughter and my wife. And when they would go to sleep, I would study in my room by myself for about 6 hours every single night. I was also studying during my desk warming time at the public school. So you can see it was a lot of time, a lot of work, but it's worth it in the end if you have a goal and you can accomplish that goal, which I did. So continuous education, you can do online education, you can do offline education, whatever suits your needs. Don't forget, folks, there's a lot of free resources out there, right? A lot of free resources. YouTube, for one, is great. Getting advice. You can get certificates to improve yourself. Experience is massive, everybody. I didn't have that. That was one of my problems. If you have experience in something that you do, that is such a big tool. All you need is a little bit of education up on top of that to give you the best opportunity, okay? Now, networking, building connections, I'm not going to BS you on this channel, okay? I am not the most social person. For me, family is most important, so I'm spending most of my time at work or at home. But networking is something that will help you build connection. It will also help you build a web of connections that can get you advice, for example, or job opportunities. You can do this in any field that you're in. I only network in the place that I work, okay? So I would make some connections through them, and from there I can get opportunities, right? Whether it be teaching opportunities or whatever, presentation, courses, whatever it may be. Networking and building connections is obviously very, very good for you and learning new things, okay? Now, the next one is seeking opportunity and taking calculated risks. Seeking opportunity. You have to know where you want to go. You have to be able to make it happen. For me, it was moving to South Korea. For me, it was realizing that, oh, you know what? Teaching is actually something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy the motivating side of teaching. I enjoy seeing the student improve. I enjoy helping people, right? That's kind of the person I am. So hopefully I'm trying to help you too at the same time. Taking calculated risks is a little bit more difficult when you have dependents, i.e. I was in a situation with a young baby, so obviously the risk that I took by leaving the safety of the public school, where I was getting paid really well, and seeking university employment 2 hours from home, it's a bit of a risk, okay, but I took it, I got it, 1 year experience, and it worked out for me. Taking the master's degree and putting a large chunk of money that we had as a family into that master's degree, if I failed that, it would have been terrible. It would all have been on me. Thankfully, I didn't. So that motivation behind your decision can push you on. So calculated risk is not a complete risk. You're not jumping off a cliff. You are thinking of the consequences before you jump. Okay, so whether it, the positive weigh out the negative, that's a calculated risk. Want to take your first steps to freedom? You have to be able to actually take that first movement. Okay, if you don't do it for yourself, it's not going to happen. No matter how much I tell my students about what they can do to improve themselves, if they don't actually do it themselves, they won't improve. So the key, folks, is to try and make it happen. Not next week, not next year, not in 10 years. Do it today. Try and start your journey now to get a better future for yourself, because it is possible. Perseverance. Okay, perseverance. Don't quit. This is something that I've had. I don't even know why I have it. It's kind of like an intrinsic thing that I have had throughout my life. Maybe it's the fact that I'm quite strong-willed, or going back to the country house in that room all by myself. That was very, very scary. This set me up for a lifetime of wanting to face challenges head on, and actually looking for challenges as opposed to looking for the easy way. Choosing the difficult option was always key for me. So having perseverance, my advice to you all is you need to just keep going. If a bump in the road happens, be flexible, adapt to it, but keep going. Don't stop. If you stop, it's so hard to get back on the horse, for example, right? You have to keep going. Adaptability, of course, like I said, things can happen, especially when you've got kids, when you're a father, when you're a husband. Life can happen, but you must be able to adapt and go with the flow. And finally, I would say staying motivated is a very, very important thing to do. Now, here you have your end goal, your reason for doing it. In my case, it was my daughter. It was my young daughter. It was my wife. It was my family. So that, for me, was everything. That's what I'm aiming for. Also, part of it was for me, right? Career-wise, I wanted to get to the university. I wanted to teach university students. I didn't want to deal with kids for the rest of my life when I'm teaching. Okay, sure, I wanted the vacation time. I wanted the benefits. Of course, who doesn't? That's what makes the job so good, right? You're getting rewarded for your education, your experience, for your expertise. In 2023, I was voted outstanding professor in my university, okay? Now, that's true. I'm not trying to flex here, folks. I was the first foreign professor to get an award in my university in 27 years. For me, that was so cool. And it's a kind of reward for hard work. And it kind of teaches me that, you know what, Paul, anything is possible, right? Look at me when I first came here. I was at the very, very bottom of the ladder. It's almost like I was doing my apprenticeship. That's what it was. That's where perseverance comes in. You have to finish, okay? You can't quit it because it's so difficult. You can't quit it because you're not happy with working conditions. If you're on a year contract, finish it, then go. If you are unhappy at your workplace, don't just leave. get another job, then leave, right? Have a plan in place. You don't have to have it all figured out now. That's what I would say to you. Don't have it all figured out now. Start small. Take your small steps. It's all going to lead to the same place, right? Explore opportunities. Set yourself some clear goals. Make sure you're not kind of like weighing yourself down. Now, the journey will not be easy, okay? Trust me on that. My journey has not been easy, but folks, that is why I feel today like I'm successful, because I've taken on all the most difficult paths, I feel like. I've taken on all the challenges and I've overcome them, and today I'm in a pretty good place. Freedom, fulfillment is waiting for you on the other side. I'm pretty fulfilled in my job. Like I say, I get the motivation from helping my students. I get a lot of free time with my children. I can be the father that maybe my father wasn't. Everything in life that's worth achieving is difficult, but that's the reward you get for achieving it. Hopefully today's video helped you a little bit. If it did, I would love you to share your dream job, maybe at the bottom. What is your goals for the future? Where are you aiming for in the future? What kind of steps do you think you need to take? Maybe if you want some advice, give me some questions. I can get back to you. I wish you all the very best. And stay tuned, there's more videos coming. All right, have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.